You won't know who I am from what you perceive. But if you listen when we speak, then you will receive a glimpse of who I am. And then you'll believe and have a life of peace, because your soul is at ease. You see, our source is the essence of which this world is conceived, which means that we were here before the bird and the bee. Now if you have not guessed, I am eternity. But now if you have guessed, and you guessed correctly, that simply means we share the same destiny. To realize we are the God and Trinity that is talked about in Christianity. Now some will say that vanity, or go as far as insanity. It's because they believe in Western theology. But as for we see, we choose ancient Kemetic philosophy. Not to say that's the only path to immortality. That's the path for we, this life, you see, as we devote our life to helping others be free, so they in turn can reach their full divinity. And this is done because of the he in I and the I in he. Peace and wholeness. All right. Greetings and heavenly salutations to all, and welcome to another episode of Metaphysical Mondays, where we discuss the unseen side of health. The unseen side of health. And today's brief discussion will be on the fall season's link to your lungs. The fall season's link to your lungs. And well, let's just jump right off into it. No big introductions on, this, that, or the other. Just hit it and quit it. First, we want to just look at the correlation between, first of all, fall season in your lungs. The reason why that title is there, because in traditional Chinese medicine, which is becoming more popular these days, that's been around for quite some time, as opposed to traditional Western medicine. And in traditional Chinese medicine, there is a correlation with each of the four seasons, in the four-season climate, the four seasons and an organ of the body, or two organs of the body. But generally speaking, if we look at last season, which was summer, the element that deals with summer is fire, as well as there's an organ. The element is fire, the organ is the heart in traditional Chinese medicine. This is in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, last season was winter. In the winter, the element is water, and the organs is the kidneys. Then you have the season that we're in now, which is the fall season in the Northern Hemisphere, which that season deals with the lungs. And the element is metal in the Chinese system. And there's a little caveat. There's a force element system also. That element would be earth, air, water, earth in the force system. Not to confuse the systems or anybody who may be listening who may not be unfamiliar. So we're going to stick with the Chinese, traditional Chinese system, right? And they have 5 elements, 4 seasons. And in the Southern Hemisphere, it would be the springtime. That element would be wood, and the organ would be the liver. And next season would be the winter season. The organ would be the kidneys, and the element would be water. So there you have it. Generally speaking, the fall season correlates with the lungs from traditional Chinese medicine, you know, relatively speaking. And how that resonates personally with my person, which is the physical being that you see, because I am a soul. As a soul, this the physical body is my person. So my person looks at the breath as a wonderful way of letting go. Because generally speaking, the fall season is a season of letting go, releasing, as is observed by nature. As my person just looks out the window and see the trees begin to change colors. You know, many people will agree that it's such a beautiful sight as the leaves change color. You know, red, orange, yellow. You know, the colors of the lower chakras. Green is the heart. They stay green for the most part, and then they go like yellow, orange, you know, red. So down to the root chakra, roots, sacral, solar plexus, you know, heart. So that's another discussion. But again, just looking at how the fall season, nature, letting go, getting rid of those things that are no longer serving us, so that when the winter season comes and things are more, when we're more dormant, less active, we're not settled with a lot of unnecessary things. So metaphysically speaking, the fall season alongs with letting go. So this is a good season also to look at, you know, not necessarily spring cleaning because it's not spring, but maybe getting rid of those things that you realize aren't serving you physically and metaphysically. Of course, the metaphysical is what we're talking about, like people, you know, activities that you're doing, things that you're involved in the people. And if they're not really serving you, it's a good time to look at releasing those things and letting them go. Of course, experiences goes with that. And breathing, the breath is a powerful tool of simply releasing as well as relaxing. And so, you know, breathing is a correlation with the lungs. So again, from a certain perspective, the lungs and breathing can be looked at as definitely being related with the fall season of letting go. And along with the lungs and letting go, there's also an emotion that's associated with these seasons and these organs. And the emotion that is associated with the organ of the lungs is that of grief. And generally speaking, grief is that emotion. It is an unpleasant feeling that we have about a so-called past experience. You know, sorrow, we feel bad about it. It happened. It's not right in front of us. It happened yesterday, last week, last month. You know, it happened. And the ability to let it go, you know, is a correlation or characteristics of the lungs, which comes back to the breath. Because even in our daily situations, If we have an unpleasant experience like right now, so oh wow, a surprise, oh, wasn't expecting that to happen. Ooh, that is really not pleasant. The more that we're able to breathe and keep breathing intentionally in that moment, then the potential for that to build up and cause other complications is minimized because we're breathing and we're letting go in that moment. And of course, it works for things that happened in our childhood years ago, taking the time to bring them up, allow them to come to our forefront, our consciousness. And as we breathe, to release them. And it's also good that my person does this as we letting go that feeling through the breath, we're replacing the scenario, we're replacing the experience with certain laws and principles with a different perspective. You know, we see it from a different perspective and align that with certain laws, whatever the case may be. So not to go too far off into the remedy aspect, because generally speaking, there are a lot of remedies out there. My person just sharing briefly how it uses this information that it's sharing. So there's information, generally speaking, about lungs, health, and my person is weaving in there how it chooses to use the information to provide remedy to assist with more optimum and or radiant health, right? So lungs, the fall season, letting go, grief, you know, is the emotion. So it also assists us with being more emotional, well, and more at peace, right? And then a second thing I want to briefly talk about is the thyroid and thinking and your thyroid, right? So with thinking and your thyroid, there's also planetary correlations with our 7 major energy centers, the so-called chakras, right? And our throat chakra, being it's in our throat chakra, there's a correlation with our lungs, right? Lungs and throat chakra, there's a correlation there. Also, generally speaking, a lot of modalities, including my person's modality and system, the planet that's also associated with the throat chakra is Mercury. And some of the few characteristics about Mercury is that it is associated with communication, thinking, analyzing, loosely belief systems. But we'll just stick with the thinking and communication. Also, Mercury has an association with in the zodiac of Gemini and Virgo. So both share those, and they may be looked at as one maybe more masculine, one maybe more feminine side of Gemini. Whereas of Mercury rather, whereas Gemini may be more considered the more masculine side of Mercury, being so it's an air sign, and the feminine side may be looked at as more Virgo by being more of an earth sign. Nonetheless, the more, you know, for those who may be familiar with those zodiacs, thinking and communication may be, again, may resonate with you. And from a African perspective, traditional African spiritual perspective, deity, in fact, deity, day, as in the days of the week, the deity. There's a correlation there. Again, maybe another episode or tied in with something else. However, the deity that correlates with Mercury is Sebek. One of them is Sebek in the Kemetic tradition, and in Yoruba it would be Elegwa or Elegwa, and respectively speaking, you know, they're different names, similar attributes, And the correlation would be the planet Mercury. And with that, they also known as a trickster, the crossroads, which is key also the crossroads. Let's speak a little bit more about the crossroads and the way opener. The crossroads and the way opener, the trickster. These are a few characteristics associated with the deity side of Mercury, with Sebek and the Legua. But at any rate, Mercury, also known as the fastest planet, science is the fastest planet. And our thyroid governs our metabolism, how fast or slow, at the speed at which metabolism, we digest food, our energy system, either have some people needs more rest, some people need less rest, based upon your thyroid. It can be regular thyroid, hyperthyroid, hypothyroid, overactive, underactive. These are a few things that we've heard about in our society, generally speaking, when it comes to thyroid issues. Hyperthyroid, hypothyroid, overactive, underactive. And from a certain perspective, it could be linked back to the throat chakra and maybe any grief that we may be experiencing, or any feelings of grief that we may be holding on to, and or ability to communicate, or constantly having thinking patterns that's not aligned with our core beliefs. So that's just something else to add to the lungs. And the fall season, so we're in the fall season, this will be just a good time to give more attention to these areas if it resonates. Because my person is of the old school, some may say, of process. Process. In today's day and time, there are a lot of energies moving towards rapid rush, hurry, got to do, especially when it comes to, say, like making money, or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of rush these days tend to be about it. And just slowing down and understanding time plus consistency is a good way of getting results. And using the gym as an example and growing food. Both of those generally takes time. We're familiar with. And that's my personal approach with health. So by taking a look at the seasons and by being intentional with a few things each season that are different over the course of a 12-month period, we will have addressed many areas of our life when it comes to health and the holistic aspect of our health, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, simply by each season being mindful of certain shifts and certain attentions we're giving to. So a little caveat there. As we move on to the third and final thing that my person would like to bring up regarding the fall season in your lungs and/or your lungs and your health, which is why speak your truth. Why speak your truth? One, because many of us may be familiar with that. We're casting spells when we communicate, we talk. In the Christian Bible, scripture says that life and death is in the tongue. Life and death. Life and death. Also, health and wealth is in the tongue. Health and wealth is in the tongue. So it's all in the tongue. It's all in the communication, what is being spoken, what is being said out of one's mouth. So, of course, with casting spells, some would say speaking things into existence. The more that we speak what we would like to have, and our emotions back them, as in if we speak about how much, man, it'd be so much to have this thing. A lot of times that will serve as fuel to bring those things to manifestation. Even if, which is also true of those things that we do not wish to manifest. If we speak about them with emotion, energy in motion, we're given energy to move those things. We're given energy so that those things can be in motion when we speak with emotion to manifest whatever they may be, whatever they may be. And also to that, when we speak and our communication isn't aligned with what our core beliefs are, there is harmony. And when there is harmony, there is health and ease. However, if we choose, for whatever reason, to communicate anything other than what it is that we believe in our core, about reality, about ourselves, about the experience, about whatever, if our communication is other than what we believe in our core, then that is tension. And tension brings on uneasiness or dis-ease or poor health because it's tension. And of course, there's some tension is good tension, it's required tension. After all, my person would not be in front of this device communicating if it didn't have any tension within this body. The tension to keep everything, all the cells and stuff together. Some will call that tension magnetism. Magnetism. Within the center of my being is a black hole. From the black hole, which the soul, sends its light forth, which gives a rise to this physical body as the energies densify, it's constructed together. Otherwise, be scattered all over the multiverse. So again, some level, some form of tension is good. However, when we speak, our communication is not aligned with that which we core believe. That tension may not serve us in the best when it comes to our health and longevity. So just a little caveat on that. And those are three things, to, ponder, look at, again, these for educational purposes only, just simply sharing some information that's out there that my person put together in a way that serves it on its journey of self-healing. Can you dig it? Right on. All right. So as we begin to wind this thing down at 12:23, just wish to remind any and all, everyone, that if there's anything that you would like to know more about, have more information on, if there's anything that is inquisitive, about health that you would like my person to speak on, or from a metaphysical perspective, please leave a comment, and we would definitely, do a series on that, do a speaking engagement on that. Also, some of these concepts may be new, while some may be familiar. And the way they're put together may be new and it may be familiar, while at the same time, whichever way it may be, if there is any challenges with integrating, as in applying them, making them a part of your life, which is the ultimate goal. These days there's so much information out there on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Of course, this is just more information out there as well. On concepts, theories, things like that. Yet sometimes it may be challenging for individuals to integrate them, activate them, actualize them, realize them to the point where, one is on the verge or at the point of self-realize and or self-actualize. So with that being said, feel free to reach out to yours truly, Master Ashep. My person does provide spirit coaching sessions and spirit counseling. And we're moving into more of a donation-based scenario. So, feel free to reach out, set a time up where, either leave a comment or And or my person will put soul healing, better yet, into the comments. So you can just go there and healing.org. Go there and schedule a time or something, consultation. Yeah, that's that. All right. So unless someone have any other questions. And just as also a reminder for those who may be local, if you're looking for a spiritual community, if it resonates a social environment to sit down and have these types of discussions, maybe it was some food or snacks or something like that, feel free to come on down to Temple Mother Earth in Southeast Washington, D.C. My person is here on Sundays at 11 a.m. with Soulful Sundays, which that particular portal event is designed. Our motto was bringing sexy back to Christianity, which we have discussions where we look at Christianity in such a way where we feel the essence of the peace of God that surpasses all understanding, which is maybe looked at as very orgasmic. And at 1 p.m., there's a soulful sound bath in which we simply open up and relax to feel more of that essence, the essence of all there is, all there was, and all there shall be. So that's Sundays, 11 a.m., 1 p.m. And if you're not in the area, you can always catch Soulful Sundays live, same one of these platforms, Facebook, YouTube. On Mondays is a potluck, integration potluck. Is no particular agenda, just come, bring a meal or a donation and just fellowship. Then there's the second and fourth Fridays, Freedom Fridays. We have a jam session. Bring the instruments out and jam, make some music, spoken word, original songs, light discussion on freedom and as a freedom from the perspective of a sovereign being, sovereign spiritual being, where we only, we're free to act on the inspiration that's coming from the God within. So, what does that look like? Freedom Fridays. And there's an opportunity to have a microdose experience of the psilocybin, aka mushroom, aka the magic mushroom, aka a shroom trip. So yeah, second and fourth Fridays. For those who are opening, it resonates. Is an option. You may also have a microdose, not having a ceremony all night, just a microdose to enjoy the experience a little bit more. So again, those are the platforms, events. You come hang out with a brother. Again, Soulful Sundays is online. The other events is in person if you're in the area. All right. Give thanks, for tuning in, sharing, riding with a brother. And until we get together once again, to everyone, the best of thoughts to you and enjoy all of your creations. Right on, right on. Oh, let's end with the theme song also. That's what we're going to do. We open and we end with the theme song. Sounds good. You won't know who I am from what you perceive, but if you listen when we speak, then you will receive a glimpse of who I am, and then you'll believe and have a life of peace, because your soul is at ease. You see, our source is conceived, which means that we were here before the bird and the bee. Now if crispy